Well, I lost you. That was part 1 on April 4th, 2026. This is part 2 of April 4th, 2026. I was on a roll. I was with Luke Skywalker. I can't believe I remember this stuff. You know, my God, how many years ago was that? How many years ago? 53 years ago? So I'm just kind of reviewing where I was. I wasn't finished quite. I should have watched it. Okay, let's just think here. Light. Oh, okay, I know where I'm going. When I was talking to you about being mirrors, the sharper you are in having healed your whatever's, wounds, shadows, whatever, the more clear and you become clear. And so when someone comes at you, there's nothing to hit because you're clear. There's no triggers. Like, I'll tell you a trigger story. Let me tell you the trigger story. I think I told you, I don't know where I say these things. Spiritual community. I was in a class and what an experience. So anyway, people are sharing. This person did 25 classes over, 6-month period, whatever. So, and the instructions were, don't ask any personal questions. Like, Barbara, don't ask about your last lifetime on the astral level, level 4, what happened to me? Don't ask those kind of questions. Ask questions about spiritual questions, like what was Jesus doing? Nothing about me. So anyway, before every class, this was the instruction. Don't ask personal questions. And that's his business. He gets paid $10 a minute. So, of course, he's not going to do it for us for free. And so the class starts. And he could squeeze in anywhere from 2 to 4 sharings in an hour. Every class, people would ask personal questions, despite the fact that the instructions were every single week, don't do that. So a couple of my friends and I, we would just get on the phone after the class. It's like, what is it going on? Like, he says this, the students are doing this, and he doesn't correct them. He doesn't do a course correct. Like, guys, reminding you, don't share personal stuff. So, okay, I texted in the chat to the person who was running it. I said, I noticed that people are doing personal sharings, and you said not to. Of course, Barbara, out of 200 people, I'm the one who asks. Why? They probably thought I was being, a bugaboo, an annoyance, but I want to follow their rules. I wanted to cooperate. I wanted to share. And if I see everybody else sharing personal questions, well, I want to share one too. So all I wanted to do is get clear on the rules. What are the rules? You're saying this, but you're letting people do this, and you're not course correcting them. So he wrote back to me, and he said, well, we'll talk to them. We're going to talk to them. Well, 25 weeks go by, and everyone's doing the same thing. They're asking personal questions. So I think I shared once with him, and I don't remember what I shared. So 25 weeks go by, and on the 25th or the 24th, he had said something about his own journey and his own process, which I'll keep confidential, and it confused me. Like, well, why would you do that when blah, blah, blah? Like, it really, I didn't understand. So the following week, I raised my hand, I got called on, and so as I get called on, okay, check this out. This is what gossip does. This is exactly what happened with this community. They all piled up on me. Every single male in a leadership position was really doing very cruel things to me. But I'm also fine-tuning. I'm telling you this about the fine-tuning and triggers. Okay, so let me tell you what it is. watch what happens with triggers. If you reject me right now and I have a rejection issue that I have not healed, when you reject me, I'm going to freak out. I'm going to have a nervous breakdown. I'm going to be crying. I'm going to be upset. But once I heal that part that says, so what? Then when you reject me, it's like, fine, next. That's what healing does, is it lets go of those buttons and you are free. So now going back to him. So now all the gossip is going on and I have no clue. I still don't know what is going on, but I know the men and a couple of women who are in leadership positions are going for my jugular at every opportunity they had. So they're all in on it. This was not a one-person thing. He harnessed an entire group to do me in. I have to tell, I can't even tell you this because it sounds so crazy and sick to me, but it was real and it was observed and it was witnessed by hundreds of people. And so he calls on me and I'm ready with my question. I was confused about what you said last week, Bo. He says, in front of, 150, 200 people, let's see if Barbara, how do you say it? Along the lines of, in front of everybody, he never did this to anybody else in 25 weeks. Let's see if Barbara can ask a question that's not personal. And it's like, I didn't, when he said it to me, my response was, now I've since looked at it, but my response was laughter. It was laughter. It didn't touch me, but of course I didn't know this till later. I just laughed. No, and I laughed and I said, I wanted to ask you something else. So I asked him my question, which was not personal. It was all about him. And then at the end, I didn't really understand the answer, to be honest. I didn't understand, but I didn't press it. And I was like, I'm ready, thank you very much. I really appreciate it. And then he says, he doesn't stop there. He says, well, Barbara can ask a question that's not personal. It wasn't enough to say it in the beginning. He had to say it again. To the point when the seminar was over, I was getting phone calls from my friends like, what the fuck is going on? Excuse me, what the F is going on? Bleep, bleep. I said, I have no idea. But, inside, there's a part of me, I'm starting to catch on. Something is going on here. Anyway, so I thought about it, and I do my inner work. I really, really call myself on my SHT. And this awareness came as like, oh my God, he attempted, because he didn't succeed, that was a humiliation ritual. That's what they call it. When someone humiliates you in front of people, it's like a ritual. He attempted to humiliate me in front of everybody. And I didn't respond, but with laughter. And I said, oh my God. It was like, thank you, God. I had no idea how far, there's a bug in here, how far I had come in my healing, because when you're in isolation and you're alone all the time, you don't really have feedback from your universe to kind of tell you where you're at. So in being alone all the time, the only feedback I had going on was homeless people, disabled people, elderly people. This was my population. This was me with my people, because I was everything like that. So no one's calling me out spiritually. No one's really talking about spiritual stuff in those communities. So I realized when he called me out like that in front of everybody, I was fine. And I have to tell you, I'm even excited to tell you this. This is healing. This is pure healing results. This is freedom from the matrix. It's like, I don't care what the F you say. I don't care. I don't have a button of humiliation. You can humiliate me all you want. I'm over it. I don't care what you think. I'm going forward now. I've done the work. I don't have those buttons anymore. But he helped me see, even though he intended to humiliate me, what I got was this incredible blessing. I was like, thank you, God. I had no idea I had come so far unknowingly. I wasn't intending, I wasn't even thinking about my buttons, like this rejection, abandonment, humiliation. I was just trying to survive every day. But apparently, in my attempt to survive, and things were happening, and I was getting bombarded, I was getting well practiced and well rehearsed out of necessity to not let those things bother me. I didn't have time to deal with a rejection or an abandonment or a bullying or a nasty thing. I observed them. I noted them. I noted who said them, and I knew who to stay away from. I noted them. I observed them. But they weren't, not in the beginning. In the beginning, they were all pushing my buttons. But by the end, as I'm coming out of hell, these things weren't bothering me. And he was like a signpost of, he tried to humiliate me twice. Once in the beginning and once at the end. It was relentless. Like, it wasn't enough to say it once, he had to say it at the end. And so my response was genuine, authentic laughter that was like, no, that's not what I'm doing. I'm not about to ask something personal, but I wasn't offended. He didn't push my button, which he intended to. He wanted a reaction. This is what they were trying to do. They were trying to push me so over the edge because they wanted me to react in some, crazy way so that I would match the narrative. You have to understand these people that are gossipers and want to destroy you. They create a negative narrative about you. She's crazy. She's this. She's that. She's that. And then they tell everybody around them. And these people who are so weak, they don't come and check it out with me and say, I know you for 10 years. I've never seen this. What's going on? No, not one person came to me and said, this doesn't sound like you. No, they all, what do they call them? Flying monkeys. The main person hires these people, and I'm sure these people got paid also to bug me. I know so. I'm afraid to say it on here, but I know so. They hire people to do all kinds of, there are people, I can't tell you everything now, but there are people that do some really crazy SHT. And I'm talking seriously dangerous things, that they will hire people to do things to you if they want you unalived. I have experienced it, so I can say this. It's not just the government, it's everyday people. So anyway, I had nothing bothered me. And, for a week I was kind of digesting it. And then by the end of the week I said, you know what? Even though it didn't affect me, and I'm grateful to know this about myself because I had no clue that I was healed of all this stuff. And it to me, it was a signal. You can go back out in the world now. You've healed so much, and you're so much more stronger. You're so powerful than you were before, more strong than you were before. But to me, it was a message like, you can go back out there now. And you've been isolated, you've been in seclusion, we've been training you, all the karma that you had with all those issues is gone, burnt off, slipped off, melted off. And, but I observed it. I wanted to write a letter. I still have it on my list. I won't tell you what I want to say in the letter, but you know what I want to say in the letter. Don't you dare ever blah, blah, blah to me again. Now, that was Barbara taking care of little Barbara and Barbara. The point of the letter was not to say, oh my God, you hurt me and, I'm so pissed off. No, it was just to let him know, I'm fine, but don't you ever do that again, because it's not nice. It's not kind. It was inappropriate. So even though we're healed, it doesn't mean we don't call them out and say, that was abuse. That was a humiliation. That was verbal abuse. I had it here. So even if you're healed, I don't believe you should just walk away. We need to let people know you're out of bounds. You are out of bounds. that was not appropriate and it wasn't accurate because you let everybody else for 25 weeks share personal questions. Why did you pick on me? Well, of course, now I know. I mean, I have, God's been showing me everything, and I had a few phone calls. It's like, what did I say before? Some organized assault. You know, I have to tell you, I'm having so much trouble sharing this. It may sound like I'm not, but let me finish before I go off track. So anyway, I didn't write the letter, but it's on my list of letters. I have a list of letters that I don't write, but I write them up here. But I never put them on paper because every time I get ready to do something, God has me on to the next challenge. I never have rest. It's like, what is it? No rest for the weary. As soon as I learn something or heal something, I don't even have a chance to glory in it and celebrate it because God has me on the next level. I had a teacher who once said to me, "You're on the fast track, Barbara." And I didn't really know what he meant, but looking back now, I was like, boom, 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 boom. I was just going through classes, going through books. I was just moving. And I wasn't looking at anybody else. I wasn't comparing myself. I didn't know that everybody else was going like this, and I'm going like this, And I had a mission. It's probably because I had a very clear mission. But there was something I was going to say to you. I forgot what it was. It'll come to me. So something made me, okay, I got it. I have the word here, surveillance. Boy, I'm getting clear. I have been under surveillance many times. I've been followed. I've had my phone tapped. I had my whole apartment trespassed, moving things around, gaslighting me, trying to make me think I'm crazy. I mean, I have had, okay, let me tell you what the point I'm trying to make. I was talking to this Uber driver about it. I said, I can't tell civilians about the things I experience. And what I mean by civilians are people who do their 9 to 5, come home, have their dinner, go to sleep, and that's it for the rest of their lives. Okay? My life is not like that. I have had I don't want to say crazy experiences. I have experiences like with tools that the Army uses in wars done to me in my own apartment. And it'll be a movie. I have lots of movies to make. And I'm just like this plain person. But no, apparently I have to have these experiences that are not experiences that ordinary, everyday people have. And so once this Uber driver and I were really getting into it, I mean, I saw he understood that. It was like, I said, I can't tell people this. I've been holding all this in for so many years, just with no witness. I just have to be my own witness. I have to be my own container because everyday people don't get what people are capable of in the world. Negativity. This is why I try to tell you guys, you must protect yourselves. I don't say it to be a fearmonger. It's like there are people out there who are, I don't even want to say they're mental, but you have psychopaths out there, you have narcissists, you have sociopaths, you have all these different people. And if you're trying to, do right, you've got to protect yourself. You've got to put that white light around you. You have to ask God, please protect me, or please be with me in this meeting. I know they're going to bully me. God, be with me now. Because there are people out there that will attack your consciousness. And I should add, I'm going fast. I'm on my rant tonight. It's spiritual warfare. It's not so much, they are going after your personality, but it's something much higher that's going on. It's the negativity and the goodness. Spiritual warfare, we'll have to describe that sometime. There's a war going on all the time, good and evil. And so God uses people, I hate the word devil, but the devil uses people, the negativity. And so if you're around people that are not conscious and aware and alert and are letting the negativity use them, you need to stay away from those people, because they're going to use you as the target. So that's why, as you refine your spiritual path, you start to pray, God, where are my people? Where is my tribe? I don't want to be alone the rest of my life. I love people. I want friends. But I don't want people that are walking out the street unconscious, and just verbally attack at any moment because an entity comes in them and uses their bodies to attack you. I mean, if you watch all the movies of Jesus Christ, other than the reading, you'll see this depicted where Jesus, what does he do? He releases the entities out of people. It's like, be gone. And in some movies, you actually see the person totally come back to normal. And this is real stuff. This is not just the movies. So what was my point? About protecting yourselves. Protect yourselves, because there are people out there that have buckled in the system, buckled under the matrix, buckled under the negativity, and they are easy, usable people by the devil. And if you are near them, you are going to be the target here in this assisted living. Okay, everybody around me on this floor has dementia. They refuse to move me to the building they promised me, which is more people that I can be more social with me. And these people are bullies. The administrators are bullies. Why? Because they're not used to someone walking around, even though I'm on a walker, alert, smiling at people, saying hello. They are used to being, everybody is in their bed or in their room. They rarely come out. Now, I'm gone the whole day. But when I come into this building, I have to deal with their matrix. And I don't want to say these intelligent people. I don't want to say they're educated, but they're in leadership positions. And they bully. I've seen it in other institutions of medical health. They bully the patients. And then me being alert and having this savior empathic complex, it's like I look at them like, what? Like, what? And I have called them like, what are you doing? I have seen some horrors in these nursing homes. I've heard people screaming, leave me alone, you are hurting me. In the middle of the night, 3:00 in the morning. Sometimes I go out, and sometimes I would just tell myself, Barbara, just stay here. It's rampant in these places. That's why I tell you, don't put your people in these places. Because, how do I say this? The people that work in these places are minimum wage. They are not licensed. They are not trained in caregiving. They are not licensed. So, in some places where they're real expensive, they get the licensed people. But these people are off the street. They stay in these jobs for 10, 20 years. They know what they can get away with. Like my cleaning lady, she knows she can steal because she's been here for 10 years. They never fire her. They never call her on it. So she knows, new person, I got a pair of earrings on the floor. She takes them. So what I'm trying to say about caregivers, bullying. Oh, so in my book, Where I Live and What I Know About God and the Spiritual Heart and Consciousness, these people are evil. They let themselves be used for negativity. And, but if you saw them every day and you didn't know they worked here and you met them on the street, you would think that they were fine, I assume. Example, there was a meeting. I only went to one. I couldn't tolerate it. There is a meeting like once a month, a residence meeting, and the director's there, his assistant's there, the marketing person is there, the cook is there, the health lady's there, and they're all on the stage. And you ask questions. Same questions every month. When are you going to get us better food? The food is horrible. You didn't this is broken all the time, never fix it. They give their complaints. Sit up on stage just because legally they have to have this meeting. But they have no intention of changing anything. They don't change anything. Month after month after month. So I'm sitting next to this lady, very, alert woman, and she says, my Amazon packages are getting stolen. And I know that because it's happened to me. And I even had Amazon packages put in my room that were not mine. So I snapshot them for my evidence and then delivered them to the person. So one of the people on the stage, she has a new title now, CEO. She stands up on the stage, comes to the edge, and she goes to the woman, when did that happen? What time? What date? And I am sitting there going, what the? This is bullying. This is interrogation. This is an elderly woman in a place. The meeting is for the purpose of complaints. And she gets up and leans over the stage and starts bullying her. When this. I was like shocked. And these questions can't be answered. The woman knows they can't be answered. What do you mean, what time, when? Are we going around logging everything? I do. No one else does. Why am I telling you that? What was that about? We're elderly people in an elder home for elders. This is elder abuse. This is not regular, everyday lawyers, doctors, whatever. These are elderly people. This is a vulnerable population. Elderly, vulnerable. Disabled, vulnerable. The homeless are vulnerable. All the minimized minority groups. These people are so weak in these leadership, wounded leaders. That's my new term. I never heard it before. Wounded leaders. They find these places where they can work, where there are vulnerable populations that they can pick on. That's how they exert their power. And they wouldn't dare pull that with a fully abled, healthy-bodied person, who's intelligent. They would not dare, although I should say they have done it to me. So after the meeting was over, I said to her, how can you stand for that? She goes, oh, I know her. She doesn't mean it. This is what happens. This is what they call normalized. This is what normalization. We get used to being abused. We get used to being minimized. And that's how these people in the government get away with this. Because if you do it enough and you do it enough and you do it enough, the human being that is not on a solid path of growth starts to wilt and buckle, self-destruct, stays in the cage. And then everybody's drugged by the matrix. They just want no one to stand out. They don't want any problems. They just want to get their paycheck and leave. So someone like myself would have to leave because I just might say something and, poke my head out of the bedridden people and say, excuse me, I just saw what you did. Why are you doing that? So where am I? Wounded leaders, abuse, being humiliated. I lost my place. So let me just come back to home base. Home for me with you, why I'm doing this podcast, is protection. That's where I was. Well, let me go back to home base. Home base for me is God, number one relationship. And then 2, protection from all this craziness out there. When we're young and we don't know any of this stuff, it's like we get hit, go this way. We get hit, we go this way. You'll get hit, we're just, all over the place. But when you start to refine yourself, oh no, when someone hits you, it's like, what? You're in a whole different place of worthiness. You're in a worthy place. You're in an aware place. And you start to say no. I remember I took a seminar, my very first, well, no, it was my first, but it was a very wonderful seminar. that I loved. And how do I tell you without violating confidentiality? Okay, whatever my process was, I couldn't quite, two of us couldn't quite, out of 43 people, two of us were not getting it, and I was one of them. I was so in my head because I just quit my career. My class of children were just sexually abused by a teacher, and I don't want to say broken, but I was broken. Yeah, I was brokenhearted. And so here I am in the seminar. I went there to heal that. So this other guy and I were just not getting this process. We needed to get an affirmation, and I couldn't do it. I was in my head. And a facilitator comes over to me. It was so dramatic. It was ridiculous. I mean, I am sitting in the middle of all these people, as was this other guy after me, trying to get this affirmation. And I couldn't do it. And so I guess I needed extra help. So two facilitators come over to me, who I adore. I mean, they really were my very first, I don't know the first, but they were very significant in my life. I adore them, but they're in the community, so I won't be dealing with them anymore. So anyway, I'm in the chair, and one of them says to me, I didn't quite get it, but I get it now. He says, you don't know how to say no. You don't know how to say no. It was 1988, June 1988. I was 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I was 35. I was just starting with this community. And you don't know how to say no, Barbara. They were very intuitive because they're watching me for 7 days so they can see my issues. I can tell you now, he was absolutely right. I did not know how to say no. I was a caretaker. I took care of everybody. I gave people thousands of chances. I would bend over backwards. I would do somersaults backwards, and also, it's not like I was this great person. I didn't want conflict. One of my issues was avoiding conflict. I didn't want to hear screaming, like my mother would scream. I was afraid of screaming. I was afraid of loud voices. Not afraid, but if someone raised their voice like really loud, part of me would go, ugh, I don't want to be here. You can raise your voice all you want now. I'm healed of that. It's no big deal to me. So you don't know how to say no, Barbara. And then the other facilitator, I had just come out of my public school system. I've just given up my career. I was out of it. We were major sex molestation case in my school. It's in the newspapers. You can go all the way back. And it was very dramatic. And to the point where I quit, I just walked out. And I was exhausted. And the other facilitator says to me, you are exhausted. And I was. But I think I've been exhausted all my life. I'm exhausted now. I keep, going higher levels of exhaustion. So one is you can't say no and you're exhausted. So getting back to when I say protection is I may not confront someone on it because you just can't go around. If I was to go around every day and call people on their stuff, when am I going to do my life? So, but I lost it. Let me say it. No. Oh, okay. Just, I can say no now. It may be, excuse me, what did you just say? Or what makes you think you can talk to me like that? I am having to learn the jargon of no. I mean, you can't, if you just say no to someone, what are you talking about? But if you say to someone, what makes you think you can talk to me like that? I read that sentence the other day, so it's not mine. To ask them a question. After they attack you, ask them a question. But the consciousness that I have now is no, you cannot do that to me. Now, that doesn't mean I'll tell them. I just may never see them again. I may not participate with them again. But here in a facility of elderly people, I have had to write some letters, and they went after me, and I got verbally abused. And of course, I finally said, that's it. I'm calling the state. The state comes out. They investigate. Of course he denies it. And I knew he was going to deny it. In fact, I didn't call the state. Someone called on my behalf here. So the concept of saying no is a protection. It's not just about putting yourself in a white light. It's getting to the point where we are so healed, those of us who are, what would you call us? Those of us who are on the front lines in the world every day, who, when you're on the front lines in a battle, you are the first one to get attacked. If you are a pioneer anywhere, you are the first one to get attacked. And I'm used to that now. I'm so used to it that I expect it. I expect it and I'm ready for it. And then I decide, how am I going to handle it? Am I going to just let it go? Because I can't, you don't fight every single battle, which I'm learning. You don't write every single letter. But I guess right now I'm just getting to share with you, no, you cannot do that to me. I mean, I guess everyone on this planet, in this country, is saying, not everybody, but a lot of us are saying no. Even though we don't know how to stop it, we're saying no as a collective. No, we won't put up with this anymore, but that's only part A. What do we do next? We don't have a plan. We have a concept. No plans. Remember? I don't have a concept. The presidential debate, if you don't know what I'm talking about. He has concepts. So anyway, I was talking to you about surveillance. How did I get onto protection? I know what it's like to be under surveillance. I don't know what that has to do with this talk. I don't know how I got to that. But let's see. I can't even read my handwriting. Being a civilian, I've had experiences that are not everyday people experiences. So when I was talking to this Uber guy and I was telling him some of the stuff I went through, to him, he knew it. He was validating me. And this is the first time I shared this stuff because I can't tell people about the stuff I've been through because it's just it's bizarre to me, but to some people, it's normal because that's the arena that they run in, lawyers, surveillance, investigations, whatever. But this Uber driver knew before I even finished my sentence, he would finish my sentence and then explain to me what was going on and put words on it for me. And I said to him, you have no idea what you're doing for me. I said, you are witnessing my experience. And I feel so validated that someone knows that this goes on. It's like being a victim of sex molestation or rape, and nobody believes you, and you know they're not going to believe you, so you don't say anything. This is what's going on right now in America. We have learned not to say anything. Well, first of all, the repercussions, it's dangerous, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So, and I could recycle this. What word just came to me is this is the whistleblower. This is where the truth tellers come in. This is the people on the front lines. These are those of us, and I include myself in this. It's like, I can't take it anymore. I can't be silent anymore. I am willing to put my body on the line. I'm used to putting my body on the line. It may look to people like I'm very shy and they think I'm very weak, particularly in this community, because I just study. But they don't know what I'm like in the world. If they see these podcasts, they're probably shocked. Because, when did this happen to Barbara? Who is she now? I know where and when to behave. I know where and when. I know what the behavior is wherever I go. And I line up with that and I cooperate. The only time it looks like I might rebel or not cooperate is if it is so out of line, which is a lot of times, but I can't always do it. It's like my dream right now is I just want to get in my own space, lock the door, leave me alone for 5 years and let me heal. And I'll come out when I'm like 80. Yeah, it may take me till 80 to heal. So no, protection. There are crazy people out there. And you know what? On the planet right now, there are new souls, middle souls, 75% souls, and those of us who've been here lifetime after lifetime after lifetime. And we are done. There's many of us on the planet right now that are claiming, this is my last lifetime. God, help me clean up my karma. Help me heal all this junk that I've accumulated on this planet through all these lifetimes, and help me graduate into the ocean of mercy. I don't need to come back into a body again and go through this illusion again. The Buddhists that call it the wheel of karma. We keep coming back and we keep coming back and we keep coming back until one day the bulb goes on and says, you know what? I don't want to do this anymore. I don't want to keep coming back with the same old routine, the same matrix. I got it. I understand it. Now, let's move on. Let's get the PhD. I'm done with graduate school. There are people on this planet, including me, that have already claimed that for ourselves. If you claim high things, if you claimed right now, God, I want this to be my last lifetime, if it's for the highest good, because it may not be for your highest good. What you're asking the universe is, I'm ready to get my PhD. Give me the curriculum. Give me the homework. I'll do the best I can and grade me. And hopefully I can go on to the next class. So that's where you get this. I almost named him. That's where you get the people who say, Barbara, now, isn't it great that Barbara can now ask a question that's not personal? This lifetime was meant for me to say, what are you talking about? Like, do you think that bothers me anymore? So if you're asking to be enlightened, and you're asking to be aware, and you're asking to graduate and move on into another dimension, we're in the 3D. People right now are in the 4th dimension. People are dealing with the 5th dimension. They're even talking about the 6th dimension. Some people are talking about the 8th dimension. I don't even know what they're talking about, but I believe it exists. But the more you are teachable and the more willing you are to grow, the universe will meet you there and say, okay, the universe always says yes. If you say, I am an idiot, the universe says, yes, you are an idiot. If you say, I am an intelligent, sparkling, bright, bubbly woman, the universe says, yes. It doesn't even care what you're saying. Whatever you say is yes. If I say I'm ready for my PhD, the universe says, yes, here's the curriculum. We'll let you know how you're doing, and we'll let you know, you'll know when you die whether or not you graduated or not and moved on. So my concern, we could debate this all day long. When people say they want peace on the planet, this is just Barbara. I don't know how I got here, but I'm here. I don't understand how there could possibly be peace on a planet when there are so many different levels of soul awareness. Some people just came in, they're at 2%. Some people are at 10%. Some are at 25%. Some of us are 100. I don't know, I'm not at 100. But I know now what peace looks like. I know it, I can feel it, I can smell it, and I know when I'm in it, and I know when I'm not. I'm sure 50 lifetimes ago, I had no clue. So I wouldn't even pray for peace. No, I'm going off track. How can there be peace on a planet when everybody has a different awareness? How can that be? Why would someone a new soul that's just learning how to negotiate the 3rd dimension, they wouldn't even be dealing with the same issues as someone who's at 95, who's already been through all this crap and says, enough, I'm done. I want to know about compassion. I want to know about forgiveness. I want to know about goodwill. I want to know about the highest good. I want to know about authenticity. These are higher level qualities. Someone, a soul that's just coming in, is not dealing at that level. They're dealing with shelter. They're dealing with food. How do I work? How do I work this planet? So I'm baffled. How can there possibly be peace when you've got people learning about compassion and forgiveness and authenticity, and then you have people who are just dealing with learning how to navigate the physical body on the planet? It doesn't make sense to me. So I want to write a book that says there will never be peace on this planet and lay out the theory that I just told you. Now, you know, I would get so much flack about that. But then I irritate the hell out of people. So wouldn't that would be a great book for me to write. So God first and only. Protection next. What was the other one I said? Third one. Pure heart. I think there was a fourth one. But I made gratitude under number 1, 0. Gratitude. I'm just winding up here. How do I line this up with what I was talking about? So I'll just change the subject. Don't forget gratitude. I used to write gratitude statements every night, like 5 statements. I'm so off track. I haven't done that for a while. I had a notebook for everything. I had a notebook for gratitude. I had a notebook for forgiveness. I had to go buy special pretty books for everything. I mean, I had notes upon notes and journals upon journals, which are all gone now. After all that effort, they are gone. I don't know. Maybe that's good. Gratitude. I have a roof over my head. Yes, it's poison in here, but I'm not on the street. I can go in the hallway. I sleep in some crazy places here when I absolutely cannot tolerate it. Like, it's time for bed now. I make a choice whether I'm going to sleep in this room or some other places I won't mention yet until I'm gone, just to get out of the chemicals. I know it's time to end. How do I end this? Gratitude. The point of gratitude that I'm getting for myself now, it is telling God, it is telling myself that in this moment, I have a laundry list of what I'm not happy with. You know, my health, whatever, you know, my beauty, my living situation. I've got enough of that. And it's not something I want to be shouting out to the universe because I don't want to drown in negativity. When I'm grateful, I'm claiming my abundance. You know, I am grateful this room. This is rich to me for now. Okay, my stuff is here. I have a place to put it. I don't have to go looking for lockers. I can have some stuff here. Compared to being homeless, you know, it's like, I was talking to the driver, it's like the lesser of 2 evils. When it's cold out there and I know what it's like, I'd rather be in here with the chemicals. And I'll take as much medicine as I need to not get the headache. It sounds crazy to you guys, but when you're in survival mode, you have to make choices that are the lesser of 2 evils. And trust me, you don't want to go there. I was going to say, if you follow my recipe and stay away from crazy people, you will not end up where I ended up. So, gratitude. You know, I am grateful that I can walk at least a little bit. I'm not paralyzed. I'm grateful that I can express myself to you. I'm grateful to myself that I'm willing to be seen at a time where I really don't want to be seen. You know, I want to wait 10 years until I'm looking better. I can't wait. I have to move forward. I am grateful for the medication that I think is poison, but I'm grateful for it because it helps me with pain. The bed, it's ruining my back. The mattress is like this, but I'm grateful I have a bed. Often I end up on the floor. So when I say I'm grateful, I'm letting God know, thank you. Thank you for this. It may not be my preference, but at least I'm acknowledging that this is a step up. This is a step up from being homeless. And then of course, I know I'm starting all over again. I have to recreate everything I once had and better. So let me see if there's anything else I can throw in here. One day I'll tell you about surveillance. Oh, I know where I was going. With all the stuff I'm sharing with you about when people attack you psychically, humiliate you, reject you, gossip about you. This came to me yesterday. I never thought about this. Overqualified. This is new for me to tell you this because okay, this is going to sound egotistical. I do not mean it egotistical. As a matter of fact, I never even looked at this. I got a work ethic from my parents. They were both worked their asses off for nothing, for pennies. But I saw that. And they expected me to also participate, clean up, whatever. And so I learned very young how to be an employee. I was working, at 7, doing my little things for the little old ladies in my neighborhood. But by 14, I was working on Fifth Avenue, doing the register, selling clothes, doing the stock. I was a one-woman show at 14. Where did I get this from? My parents. They taught this to me. To see the kids today, these teenagers, they get depressed, if someone asks them to pick up a piece of paper. They need antidepressants if someone asks them to pick up a pen. I'm not mocking this, but I'm saying, and I know those of you who are baby boomers, you know what I'm talking about. We were taught ethics, we were taught morals, we worked hard, and there was none of this, oh, I can't do this. Oh my God. We know that that's not how we were raised. So where am I going with this? Overqualified. I was reading in a book and I said, it was like a light bulb went on. Again, this is not ego. This is me owning the truth about myself that I have never done before. Every place I went, how do I say this? I had a high level, not just of ethics, but of excellence. I knew how to write paper. I was taught how to write papers in college, so I reached a point where I could write papers. Great. To the point where I can write my own legal briefs. And I'm not trained, I'm not an attorney. So in me making the effort to learn things, I show up in places where I'm just doing Barbara. Let's say Barbara's doing 80. And I walk into a community and they're doing 40. I don't even know it until something comes up where, let's say, I don't even know I'm overqualified until something shows up where I see, oh my God, well, I'm doing this, and these facilitators and teachers and churches and communities are expecting only this. So I'm doing this, they're doing this. Now, am I supposed to come down here after I've learned to get up here? No. So what happens? I show up with a paper. I'm using this as an example, but this happens to me. I show up with a paper that's at this level. Everyone's doing this level. The facilitators don't know what to do with me. They're used to mocking people functioning at this level. But my papers are coming at this level, and instead of acknowledging my level of competence, and this has happened in this community over, and instead of acknowledging my level of competence, because they're so used to this, and they're so used to functioning at this level, I become a problem. So this is a whole new concept to me. So people will put you down if you're overqualified. Jobs, if you are overqualified, meaning you're surpassing your manager, you are not wanted there. You're making everybody irritable. So this is new for me. I never realized that I'm walking into these places overqualified. And then I stick out like a sore thumb. I'm trying to be quiet. I want to go like this, stay in my lane, leave me alone, let me just learn. And then I hand in a paper that's not an A+, an A++ paper. And I'm holding a standard that these people aren't used to. I cannot tell you how many contributions I have made to various communities where I brought forward, unknowingly, a much higher level than they had going. And do you know, they would step it up, even though they would, rattle me about it. I know it. I can see it. I can tell you specific times that I walked in and said, here's one, to this person who's been giving me hell. I potentially was going to get reimbursed for all my seminars by a possible employer for all the spiritual work I had done. So they had this shoddy little brochure. Now, I didn't think it was shoddy. This is what they had. So I looked at it, and I was going to submit that with my bill, with all my bills. I said, you know what? I need this brochure to say a little bit more about what I was studying. So I go to this person, this leader at this community, and I said to him, now, this is 37 years ago, guys, so I had nothing like I'm talking about now. But it was him that I went to. I said, do you have a different kind of brochure? I might be getting reimbursed. I'd like them to understand what I've studied here. This phony face, this was my introduction to this person. His smile went up to here, all the way up to his cheekbone, or the temples. The phoniest smile, uncomfortable, irritating the hell out of him. To me, it's like, what is the big deal? Do you have another brochure? But I pushed a button. Did he think I was judging him? Did he feel insecure that this was not the greatest brochure? This was his issue. And maybe that's why I'm going through this hell from that first incident. Within 2 weeks, this brochure came out that must have cost them $10 per brochure. It was like a wedding invitation. If you've ever seen really expensive wedding invitations, and they stopped because they were so expensive. But in response to my asking him, do you have a better brochure, he was so uncomfortable with that he stepped up to here and made this brand new brochure. And all of a sudden, a graphics artist that they never had before is shooting out all these beautiful, the bottom line, he stepped up their level of excellence because I walked in and said, do you have a better brochure? This is my life. I ask for something innocently, and I know you guys have done this. You ask for something, do you have a bottle of water for me? And all of a sudden they go, oh my God, she knows we don't have water. She knows we don't have any water here. Or she knows we have, spring water, whatever that crappy water is, instead of this. It's like almost like just because I asked for something at my level of qualifications, they react as if I busted them on something. I don't even know what I've done. But I watch the shift. I have so many stories of okay, I'm just going to say, guys, I'm telling you, this is not ego. I could not have told this to you even a year ago. When you come into a place where you are overqualified, you are a threat. You are a threat because the message you are giving them, which is not what you're intending to do, is, oh my God, we're doing something wrong. Oh my God, we're not enough. It's their insecurities. When all I said was, do you have a different brochure that explains blah, 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 blah. He didn't have one. Fine. I walked out. But if you are overqualified, I'm just processing this for myself. They don't want you. We need to find arenas. I need to find an arena where I am with people who don't consider me overqualified, where I match them, where they accept me and my intelligence and my whatevers, that are not intimidated by the fact that I've worked my ass off to get all these degrees, to get all this wisdom, to get all this knowledge, and you're going to be angry at me for what I've learned and worked for? Whereas another group, if I was working with a producer, I know, guys, no one's listening to this. This is for posterity. I was applying for a teaching job in a particular school district. I quit the job where the sex molestation was going on. And then I started to substitute teach all around LA. And I was in a more prosperous school. And so the principal was interviewing me. And he said, do you have references? I said, yes. I was working for a producer at the time, someone who was producing a television program. And I was like his assistant producer. And I gave him his name. I said, yeah, you can call him, ask him whatever you want. And when I saw the producer that night for the show, he said to me, your principal called. I said, oh, great. What did he ask him? I'm sorry. I don't remember the question. I remember the answer. He asked the producer a question. Oh, let me get this for a minute. I don't remember the question. But how would Barbara perform in this particular situation? And the producer answered something along the lines, she's very detailed. She's very, whatever he said, the truth about me. He says, and he said to him, he was telling me, he said, we can't afford, when we're in production, to waste any money. We need everything, meticulous. We can't afford $10,000 for every single minute that we waste. He was trying to get over to the principal that I am very detailed, very efficient, and that he can't afford to have me working on his film if I'm going to be wasting his time and his money. Why did I tell you this? It has to do with being overqualified. The question that the principal asked, I'm so sorry, I don't remember the question. The principal was asking a question here. But the producer who knows my work was saying, well, she's up here. She knows we can't afford for her to be piddling around. And I'm not exactly sure why I brought this up. It has to do with for him, I was overqualified. For the producer, I don't know what the budget was, but whatever it was, for the producer, I was not overqualified. I was qualified. If anything, maybe I was underqualified because I was new at production. So, so my goal is I have been around people who I have been more qualified than. This is not a put down for them, but this is an acknowledgement of my work and my effort. And so when someone comes along and punishes me and ruins my life because I am overqualified or more qualified, and then they throw me under the bus, like, why not just admit it? Just acknowledge that you're functioning over here and I'm up here. Why punish me for that? But the Matrix does that. I'm trying to get us all free of the matrix. The matrix will have this level, well, slavery. They want slaves. And those of us who come in who are not slave mentality, they have to bring us down. I have suffered for 15 years because someone had to put me down and down and down and down because I was overqualified, I was intelligent, I was a threat, etc. I'm telling you this, guys, so if this is happening to you, you can recognize you in my story. Now, there are those of you who already know this and have far surpassed me, and this podcast is not for you. God bless you. Go fly. I'm here for the people who are functioning where I was, meaning I want to validate you guys. I want to validate and tell you, don't stop growing. Don't hide in the bed in a fetal position because there are people who will slam you down for being big. The key is, and I haven't achieved this yet, we need to find our own tribe. We need to find people that are at our level of excellence, that appreciate us. They want our level of impeccability. They want our organization skills. They want us to be people persons, when we can deal with people. They want us to be literate, and they pay us for it. Instead of, I kept coming in, this is a new word for me. I just got this week. I had to write it down. Overqualified. Can you see it? It was just like a light bulb. I was like, oh my God, I walk into places, the pioneer, if you heard my podcast yesterday, I show up unknowingly to blend in, be inconspicuous, cooperate. I don't want to rock any boats. I already know that it's going to happen. And then I end up being the pioneer. I don't want to be the pioneer. As I told you in my last podcast, I am sick of being the pioneer. I would rather follow someone. Someone else be the pioneer. You take the hits of the front line. I'm going to hide behind you because I'm already bruised. I already have punctures from arrows. I would be very fine to step back and let you guys step forward because I'm done. But the problem with the matrix is if you come in higher than the group, particularly a wounded leader, I am the example of what they did to me. Overqualified, intelligent, people person, loving, caring, etc., etc. If you saw what I looked like when I walked into this property, at 58, I looked like I was 48. I was in great shape. And I was ready to fly. This guy knew. He had known me for 30 years. He picked up that I was ready to fly. I was ready to fly. I did my spiritual work, I did my worldly work, and I consciously said to God, I'm ready to come down from the mountaintop, go back into the world, teach what I've learned, do my next level of dreams. I can say this to you now in retrospect. I must have been carrying this aura of I'm ready to fly. And I got thrown under and couldn't get out for 15 years. And someone said to me the other day, I didn't say it to me, I was reading a podcast. If someone goes after you, how do they say it? Much better than me. If someone really goes after you, you have to know that you have something really great that they can see, that they're jealous of and they want. Or why are you a target? Why? It's like when people go after you, it's a confirmation, it's a validation and it's feedback that you are flying high and they don't like it. I never ever thought about it like that. And then you get punished. So the only solution for me is I would rather be alone, doing my little thing, isolate, doing my little thing from here on in until I meet people that are functioning my level or higher. I would prefer to work with people that are brilliant, just more everything than me. Because why? I want to grow. I want to learn. I don't want to be with people who are down here and going to pull me down. So rather than even have an equal person or people, I would love it if they would let me be with them. It would be an honor for me to work with people that are more intelligent than me, more organized than me, more everything than me. Most people don't think like that. The masses like to stay down here. You know, I am in a category where I love to learn. I want to grow. I want to move forward. I'm in the minority. I'm in a minority. I am in a minority. But I know there's people up here who are even more of a minority. The people who are functioning up here, as opposed to this wounded leader, want people around them that are powerful, intelligent, contribute ideas. They are not threatened by someone who says, hey, what do you think about this? If I brought a new idea to this person I'm talking to you about, he would instantly get intimidated, freak out, and punish me. If I bring it to Steven Spielberg, if I bring him a great idea and I said, what do you think about this? Or, I think I could save you $100 million on this film because of this. He's going to love that. He's going to appreciate that. But I take that to this other person, it's cause for unalive her, get rid of her. She's making me crazy because I'm not healed enough to handle this woman. So anyway, overqualified. I know that there are so many people on this planet right now, just America, that are overqualified in your jobs. And we are forced in the matrix to kind of piddle around in that. I don't know how we change that. I guess one step, one person at a time. Each of us has to come to the point where we realize who we are. We're divine beings. We're super powerful, super intelligent, super loving. And we each one by one have to realize we deserve more. Not to put those people down, but it's like, you know what? I have 3 degrees. You didn't even go to college. That's fine. But don't punish me because I went to college and was willing to go through the discipline of 4 years of school. It's not a put down. It's like, don't punish us. Don't punish the people who are gifted and talented and creative and pull them down. That's why when I said on this podcast in the beginning, guys, I'm just going on and on. I don't even know if this phone is running. We have to find our level, our sea level. We have to find what our sea level is. We have to find our temperature. We have to find our equals and more that are. If I had my own business, I would find the best young, brilliant minds. I don't want to be surrounded by you-know-who's in the government. I don't want any nasty people as an employee. I don't want anyone near me with the stuff I hear on the news, the nastiness of these people that surround him. I wouldn't tolerate it. This whole country is tolerating it. That's another subject. But I'm saying, why as a business owner, when I want to give out a service to help people, why would I let people come into my space that are nasty, disrespectful, and ignorant? And I mean stupid ignorant. If someone's working and they want to learn, that's another thing. But when someone comes in, you know, I don't know how to describe these people, but you know what I'm talking about. Lazy, like, okay, guys, I'm sorry. Just don't even listen to this. Customer service. I get on the phone, customer service. I would like the phone number. I know to go slow. I would like the phone number for Barbara Fiametta. I deliberately go slow because they are on another planet. I don't understand them. They don't understand me. 2 different languages, 2 different countries. I go very, very slow now. Deliberate, articulate. I exaggerate it. I pretend I'm talking to a kindergartner. Barbara Fiametta, Los Angeles, and this is what I hear. What do you want? I swear, this is customer service. And I used to tolerate it. Barbara, I say it again, Barbara Fiametta in Los Angeles. I don't even want to tell you publicly where I am at now. I'll just tell you when. I'm at the point now where, would you wake up, please? That is what I have said. Would you wake up? You know, I started working at 7 and 14. You know, when that phone rings, I pick up the phone and I'm ready. I'm ready for the information. They pick up the phone, you know, half asleep. I have to say it once. Then they're a little bit more awake. Then I have to say it again. And then it's like, oh, what did you want? I think I've even said something like, you know, I'm not here to wake you up. You need to be alert. Now, this has to do with chemicals and mold that change your brain chemistry. This has to do with being around, I'm going to say it, around lower vibrations. And I am going to say this, and you know, I should do a podcast on this. Gifted people. I'm going to have to edit this, guys. I'm sorry. Gifted people. Oh, man. Are not being utilized properly. There are gifted people. I believe firmly that there are people who have the solutions to cancer and AIDS and heart attacks, etc., 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 etc. But if they are around people who don't want the cure, like you know who make money not having a cure, they are not going to honor the gifted people. Our man up there is decreasing the budget for research. What leader doesn't move us forward and up? A leader's job is to move the business, the community forward and up at the same time. This is the trajectory, forward and up. What we're experiencing is this. How low can we go? The Limbo Rock. Remember the song, The Limbo Rock? How low can you go? And you go under the stick. This is what's going on in America. How low can we go? And those of us who are up here are livid. So I was saying about gifted, well, I'll have to edit this, but I was teaching 2nd grade and my last year of teaching, and I don't teach to a class. I divide my children into their levels. I go overboard. I had a gifted group, I had non-readers, and then I had 2 groups in the middle. Okay. And you know, I'm going to save this for another podcast because this is too much. But anyway, We are underutilizing the potential of human beings. We have so much potential. All of us. We could turn this planet around overnight if we had secure, intelligent, good-willed, high-minded people in leadership that have done their work, they're healed, they're not wounded, they're not going to bring anybody down. If anything, they're going to tell us all to fly. Like, fly. I'm on my soapbox. See, this is the Barbara that people don't know. Because I will only share this if I know that it can be contained, if it's welcomed. Now, I don't know who's listening to this, so I can go off and be myself 100% because I don't have to worry. You know, you'll just scroll on by, and it's probably going to drop out in 30 days anyway. But, you know, it's like, this is the problem when you can't see people. You don't censor yourself. I am sick of playing small. I am sick of hiding my light. I am sick of people that have a need to pull me down to their level to make them comfortable. I'm sick of it. I don't know how much time I have. I'm 73 already. All these years, I wish I had known that. I was not groomed. Well, I guess I was because I'm here now. But what I'm talking about, inner work, I don't even think 5% of the population are doing this work. I don't think 5% are in seminars, in classes, working on their shadows, healing themselves, maturing themselves up, growing themselves up so they can be bigger and better. It's a small group of people. The rest are content being followers. My calling is to summon. If you're on this level, wake up. You're not supposed to be down there. You're supposed to be up here. Wake up. Get off the ground and get up. Take classes, go to school, be the best you can, and people are going to tear you down for doing that. And you just have to keep going and keep going and keep going. And I keep saying, let me be your guinea pig. If I show you a picture of what I looked like at 58 or even 3 years ago, you would see what the matrix, as much as I was fighting it, as much as I was fighting the matrix, it still got me. It still got me. And my only way of revenge, I'm going to use the word revenge. My only way of revenge is to give you everything I have to use to fly. Everything. I want to be used up in this lifetime. When I die, I want to be used up. That you took everything, I gave everything that I had, and it's like, okay, God, I'm empty. I'm on empty. Take me. Thank God there are people on this planet, and I'm thinking of politicians right now. I'm thinking of Marianne Williamson. I'll be honest. If there's one spiritual teacher that I can back up 100%, it would be her. She's intelligent. She's up on the issues. She doesn't do spiritual bypasses. She knows how to do the spiritual. She knows how to do the physical, and she puts them together. And she's realistic, and she's an idealist at the same time. Why am I talking about Marianne Williamson? She has a great tape on Passover and Easter. So I haven't smiled once in this seminar. I haven't laughed. So to end this, I want to end it. Do I want to do this now? No, I don't want to do this now. I have a toy. I'll give you a sneak peek for baby boomers. So this is what happens when you stay in the room all day and you're full of mold. Good night. I will see you tomorrow on April 5th, Saturday. And Easter, Passover, honoring. Seders, the Last Supper, which was a Seder. And that's another thing. I can go off on that. You know, the Last Supper was a Jewish Seder. Like what? When are we going to put these pictures together? So anyway, I don't have any matzah this year. Oh, and I'm missing my chocolate macaroons. Chocolate-covered macaroons. Oh my God. This is what happens when you don't go shopping for food, is you forget all those treats. Chocolate-covered macaroons. Chocolate-covered matzah. So this was crazy tonight. Good night. God bless you. And if you're listening to me still, thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And my heart is in the right place. And keep in mind, I have been silenced for so long. It is a pleasure to speak and express myself. And that's what this is. This is for me, whether, if no one hears us, this is for me. Okay, good night. Bye. Love you.